We all know post-time skip, pretty much every single Straw Hat besides Luffy have been shafted in terms of development and screen time, but the one person I think has been neglected the most and has been thrown in the background the most has been Robin. I guess maybe you could say Chopper, but even Chopper has had some moments here and there. Name one iconic post-time skip Robin moment. You can't. So in this video, Robin's episode of the Straw Hat Power series, we're gonna go wild. We are gonna be going through and exploring all the possibilities to Robin's power and unlocking the massive potential of her strength. Because that's the other frustrating part about Robin, is she has this crazy potential of power. If she could somehow get her hands on some Haki, which I think would make sense, and level up her Devil Fruit a little bit, maybe with Awakening, she becomes a whole nother animal. Like, forget about Jinbei joining the Monster Trio, it'll be Robin joining the Monster Trio. From the moment Robin was introduced, we know right away this woman has a broken ass power. Hell, the fast, strong, bomb-defying Birdman that puts Michael Keaton to shame got bodied against Robin. Even the way Robin joined the crew too, completely unexpected. She just shows up on the ship, everybody's like aiming their weapons towards her, and she just slaps everybody silly and like just knocks their weapons out of their hands like, you're not gonna do anything to me, I'm joining the ship. And I'm sure during those early episodes and chapters, people were probably discussing like, oh, is Robin actually maybe stronger than Sanji and Zoro? Because if you remember, like back then she had a lot of clout. We didn't know how big the world was with how many strong people there are, and Robin was the right hand man of Crocodile, like literally right below Crocodile, and Crocodile was the big bad that took Luffy 3 different opportunities to defeat. So right off the bat, Robin was portrayed as ridiculously strong, but of course she really didn't get any serious fights. In Skypiea she fights this big boy, and then after that, that's pretty much it. But it was okay, because in Water 7 and Enies Lobby, we get all this character development and we really get to explore her character. And Punk has her, she did her thing a little bit, but after that, I don't know about you guys, after the time skip, Robin was one of the people I was looking forward to the most. Because first off, Robin is probably the smartest Straw Hat. Like, she's an archaeologist, she is somebody that seeks knowledge and seeks to understand things. So with her going into the time skip with this motivation of like, I need to get stronger, I need to learn more about my power and how to grow stronger, I had a lot of hope for her of learning different things and showing off some great powers. On top of her being smart, her situation was terrific. She was with the Revolutionary Army and the most wanted man in the world with Dragon. Like, think about this in terms of just mentors. How far below are you putting Dragon to Mihawk and Rayleigh? Granted, Dragon wasn't like just in a one-on-one session with Robin training her the whole time, but still, that pair up was like a match made in heaven. You have Robin, this super smart person that always is seeking knowledge, and Dragon, probably one of the most knowledgeable people in the world. And once she came back from the time skip, she did showcase a lot of new things. With her Devil Fruit, she's able to sprout more limbs and create these giant limbs of legs and hands. She also gained the ability to clone herself as well, which was a great boost for her power. And we'll get into this more later when we talk about her Devil Fruit and what her awakening could be. But honestly, I was kind of disappointed she didn't showcase any resemblance of Haki. Not even like any resemblance, but just like any knowledge on it. I feel like that's something she would have really focused on during the time skip and learned about it. She was with the Revolutionary Army, so she must have seen different people use Haki, and I'm guessing with like Robin's personality, the moment she witnessed that, she should have been like, oh, what is that? Like, what is that all about? How do you learn it? How can I potentially learn it? And it's very possible she did do that, but so far in the story, she hasn't really showcased any of that knowledge. The only moment that she really addressed Haki was on Fishman Island when Luffy uses Conqueror's Haki to knock out all those fishmen, and in that moment you had Zoro and Sanji both acknowledge, oh, Luffy is using Conqueror's Haki, kind of showcasing their knowledge of Haki. Jinbei was there as well, and he made a comment about how Luffy has grown so much in just 2 years, and Robin was the only other person to make a comment, but all she said was, that was Haki. That's it. That's literally all she said on the situation. And besides that, she has not talked about Haki at all. I'm very surprised like other Straw Hats haven't asked about it either. Like, what is this thing? What is Haki? Maybe they do know about it, but are they not interested in learning about it themselves? Like, I think those kind of scenes have been missing a lot from the Straw Hats. And you might say like Haki is a very hard power to learn and you have to be really strong to learn it, and not everybody gets it. But think about it, since the New World, pretty much every capable person has showcased it. We're not only talking like strong people of Yonko's crews, but even like random people in the Colosseum showcase Haki. And the Straw Hats are the pirate crew of the future Pirate King. I expect them to be able to learn Haki. It's not like I'm saying they need to learn Future Vision or like Advanced Armament Haki and Ryo. just like basic Haki that has been showcased throughout the story by very like standard people. Like the Straw Hats should be able to learn that level of Haki in my opinion, especially somebody really knowledgeable like Robin who had such a good mentor during the time skip. So overall I am a little disappointed of lack of showcase of Haki in general for the Straw Hats, but like I mentioned in the beginning, the Straw Hats overall have been just shafted in terms of screen time post time skip. So I am still holding on to hope that Robin, when she does finally get her good one-on-one fights, maybe against Black Maria in Wano, she could maybe showcase some understanding of Haki, a little bit more about her training during the time skip, because that's another thing, like we know nothing about what she did during the time skip. She's only just showcased her skill so far and hasn't really spoken about how she grew during the time skip. Most other Straw Hats have at least talked about like what they did, like Frankie of course with like Vegapunk stuff, Chopper experimenting with Rumple Balls, Robin tight-lipped, and that's like her thing because she knows so much, but come on, give us something. But yeah, I'm still holding on hope we get more information on Robin and her knowledge of Haki, and against a one-on-one fight like maybe Black Maria, maybe it's a chance for her to unlock it as well. Like Usopp just recently got observation Haki, and I know Usopp is a beast of a sniper, but Robin doesn't need to have observation on his level. It could just be very, very basic observation Haki. And with just that alone and basic armament Haki, Robin's power gets drastically boosted. If you think about Robin's Devil Fruit, the big highlight is no matter how fast you are, she's able to stop you. Like Pell, it doesn't matter, you're a damn bird and you're super fast, I could just grow limbs out of your back and just restrain you. I guess the one shining moment Robin has had post time skip was against Hakuba, this super crazy fast alter ego of Cavendish who just wiped the Colosseum with all these strong fighters. Also Dillinger, one of the Don Quixote pirates. Against Robin, it was nothing. It was just in her hands as a play toy, which honestly doesn't sound like that bad of a deal. But yeah, that's like the major strength of her Devil Fruit, and if she's able to get observation Haki, even at the basic level of sensing people's intent, being able to predict their actions, sensing the environment around her, that goes a long way in boosting her power because now all she has to do is see you and you're restrained. And the amount of different counters she could come up with if she knows what attack you're about to do, like you're about to swing a sword, she could bend your wrist and now you cut yourself or something. Like she could get really creative with her attacks if she has that observation Haki to help her predict the future a little bit. On the other hand, armament Haki would kind of fix up one of the major weaknesses of Robin. The main weakness of Robin's Devil Fruit is essentially strength. Like she does not have enough power. At the end of the day, it's still her limbs, and she's still like a slim figured girl. She's still strong and everything, but she's not like Zoro or Luffy. We saw a little bit of this back in Skypiea when she was fighting that big boy and she almost kind of like strained herself a little bit while she was trying to swing him. So strength and attack power is definitely a major weakness for Robin, and against powerful enemies like a Yonko Commander or even somebody like Black Maria who probably has an ancient zone like the other Tobiroppo, so a very diesel defense heavy opponent, Robin's probably gonna struggle with just because she can't damage them. And again, just with basic armament Haki, she's able to essentially apply another coat of invisible armor and kind of just increase her damage a little more. That in itself would be a major boost to a weakness. Another thing I always talk about too is if you don't have Haki, Logias you're completely powerless against. And that's fine for some other Straw Hats because they could maybe use Sea Stone, but for somebody like Robin who is a Devil Fruit user, they can't use Sea Stone. So she doesn't know Haki, she's kind of completely useless against a Logia. The example I always bring up is Caribou, this very goofy ass person, but at the end of the day, he has like I think the Mud Fruit and he is a Logia, so if you're Robin, how are you going to attack Caribou? I think that is just such a major weakness for somebody on the crew of the Pirate King. So at the end of the day, I really feel like the Straw Hats all need to learn armament Haki of some sort or get a Sea Stone upgrade, and for Robin, obviously that's going to be armament. But yeah, just by simply unlocking observation Haki and armament Haki at the basic level, her offensive and defensive powers get drastically boosted. If she's got a tough opponent that she's got to beat up, just make giant ass armament legs and stomp them to death. Somebody's trying to sneak up on her, well, if she could sense you and predict you, all she has to do now is look at you and now you're restrained or you got countered. So Robin unlocking Haki paired with her Devil Fruit is such a big boost, like drastically more than if like Chopper gained observation and armament. It just makes so much sense. I just don't see how after spending 2 years training with Dragon and the Revolutionaries, she just didn't like work on it at all. So overall, I'm still holding on hope that she's gonna get both Hakis, and I do think it's maybe more likely than not. Now, like I said in the beginning, we're going wild in this episode, so let's make her even more broken and speculate what her Devil Fruit Awakening could be. Now, with Devil Fruit Awakening, I'm definitely not as certain that Robin will get it. It's not like Haki haki, which is pretty common in the New World. Devil Fruit Awakening, on the other hand, we've only seen a handful of cases. I feel like in the future, Oda will have to showcase it and explain it in some way because it's a question that a lot of people will be wondering, but maybe it comes in an SBS or epilogue or something like that. It doesn't have to happen in the main story, in my opinion. But since we're going wild in this video, we're gonna imagine that it does, and let's speculate what it actually could be. Robin's Devil Fruit is one of those really weird paramecias that is really like none other. Like with Luffy's Devil Fruit, you could kind of compare it to Doflamingo and Katakuri's Awakenings, and you kind of get the idea of like a rubber world or something like that. But Robin, on the other hand, I don't know if it would kind of work the same way of like impacting the environment. I guess for her, it would be like turning buildings into her legs and stuff. Like she's able to kind of sprout herself anywhere already that she can see. So maybe now she actually turns this like environment itself into herself. So like you're fighting her and all of a sudden the ground just turns into a bunch of her hands and it smacks you up. Then you get knocked into a building and that's actually her leg now and it kicks you away. That could be cool, I guess, but it's really not that powerful. I guess another way you could do it is that she like just becomes one with the environment and now she gets rid of like the weakness of her needing to see where she teleports to. Instead, maybe she could just kind of like sense her environment and just like teleport herself like everywhere and be able to just be very evasive and kind of sneak up on people as well. So yeah, her kind of like becoming one with the environment and able to manipulate the environment, definitely possible. My other two ideas are based off the main improvements that she made during the time skip. One of the first things that she showcased was her now new ability to make giant limbs, giant hands, giant legs, anything. So naturally, the progression there would be her becoming a giant version of herself. Almost like taking Luffy's Gear Third to the extreme and now she's like literally a giant. And it would be funny if it like happens during Elbaf or something, her interaction with the other giants and stuff. That could maybe get her a little more screen time. But yeah, I do think if Robin becomes a giant, she would need to be like really, really big. Like probably Oar's size or maybe even more. Because even like looking at her giant limbs, the size of them now, they're like huge. So if we proportionalize that to like the size of a human body, she'll probably be like a similar height to maybe Oars. So that'll obviously get her a lot more strength, especially if she has armament haki as well. Maybe that'll set her up with a fight with San Juan Wolf against the Blackbeard pirates. But yeah, her becoming a giant, it's a very predictable line of progression. I think it would have to be more though, because even as we're seeing in Onigashima right now, at a certain point, like your size is not gonna matter anymore. We're seeing the numbers just get one-shotted left, right, and center. So Robin is probably gonna need more to that than just making herself giant. Maybe she'll still be able to sprout limbs, but now everything is giant. So like she's giant, but she's still able to make a bunch of limbs that are gigantic. So she'll be able to like clutch San Juan Wolf and still kick him in the stomach or something. But yeah, that's one idea there. I've seen a lot of people talk about this as a pretty predictable one. The other idea relates to the other improvement that she made during the time skip, which is her ability to make clones. And with this one, I'm kind of just imagining her becoming Naruto and making 1,000 clones of herself. She'll probably be able to still attack everybody with like all those clones, but only one of them is the real body. So of course that will be a huge upgrade, especially if she's able to use observation and armament haki as well. Maybe she could still sprout limbs on top of that. Like she's using her different clones, but she could still like sprout limbs on top of enemies and stuff to control them and counter them. Now that I think about it, her awakening might be like just getting rid of the limit of like the amount of limbs that she could produce. Like Doflamingo, do you think he had a limit of like how much strength he could produce? Probably not, or maybe it's just such an astronomical number that like it doesn't even matter anymore. So of course that would be a huge upgrade for Robin, especially if she could use armament haki. But yeah, I think any combination of these would definitely all give Robin a huge upgrade, but her main first upgrade really comes down to haki, and I think she really needs to get that. And honestly, if she's able to unlock both hakis and awaken her Devil Fruit, where would you place her within the Straw Hats? That might be my final video for the Straw Hat Power series of like looking at the Straw Hats at their peaks and kind of placing them in rank. But Robin at her like highest peak might be like higher than Jinbei in my opinion. Cause Jinbei ridiculously strong, but already kind of at his peak. Robin, there's just so much more potential with like the different combinations that you could do. Like I mentioned, just her getting both hakis would already boost her powers drastically. And depending on how she could improve her Devil Fruit with her awakening, there's so many endless possibilities. The only other person I might say would be higher than Robin at their peak, of course, besides Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, because those guys are monsters. But that person would be Frankie, and that's only because science, the possibilities are endless. I'm sure Vegapunk, if he got his hands on Frankie, could do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But yeah, taking Frankie out of the equation, I think Robin would probably be 4th at her peak. Like, if everybody was at their peaks, I think Robin would probably be one of the strongest Straw Hats. But yeah, that's my overall idea of the ultimate version of Robin, unlocking both Hakis, and then also awakening her Devil Fruit, which could be a number of possibilities. But what about you guys? What is your idea of peak Robin? Do you think she's gonna get both Hakis? What do you think her Devil Fruit awakening might be like? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to keep up to date with this channel, you gotta hit that subscribe button and hit the bell as well. The King's Pirate Crew now over 6,810 members. If you want to interact with your fellow crew members, the King Pirates Discord is linked in the description below. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm DKing4, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.